Okay, so it's 3:50 on the 25th. And gosh, it's so weird how time is. How it can seem so far. Yeah, I don't know. Time just seems like it's just moving so weird. And last night, oh my God, what the fuck, dude? The um the the energy is insane. And there's some kind of alignment or something, I think. I've heard the 24th. um, I heard somebody saying like the 24th was going to be a big thing at night. And then the 25th, there's going to be, I don't know, some alignments. I don't know. There's so many things all the time. But but you know, you just kind of, oh my God, last night, what the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ. For one thing, I've been going to bed like at 7. And I just conked out. Like, I'm telling you, the second I lay down, I'm fucking out. And but last night was so intense. It just was like, and it started later in the afternoon. Oh yeah, because Starlink went down globally for hours. So I was watching, I did my regular morning routine. By the time I came in at 11, the sun was so cooking. I would say even between like 10:15 to 11, it was like, fuck, man. I'm probably getting UV poisoning out here. It was so intense. And so maybe if I put this down a little, I feel like I'm like, woo, trying to get up there. And if I pull it any further, it unplugs. So, fuck, everything's intense. So I came in and I cooked, which I'm really on this peppers and cheese thing with salsa and avocado too. And then, oh yeah, and I had some corn on the cob. I found one place that had some really good corn on the cob because I get it all the time whenever I can find it. But some of them were so like dead taste, and it was just like, no flavor, which my corn is doing good so far out there. But but at this one store, Winco, when I've gotten it, it's super sweet. It's really good. And so I had some more corn on the cob yesterday. So I had cooked and was watching this Mary Higgins Clark, I think is her name, murder mystery on TV. And I had to keep stopping it and stopping it. And so finally I'm sitting down and watching it, and then it just goes off. I'm like, what the fuck? And so then I start trying to figure out what's wrong with my Starlink. So I'm messing with it, going out, trying to move it, do this, do that, trying to figure it out. And nothing, I can't get anything to work. Then on my phone, I could get Wi-Fi. And so just so happened, Amy sent me a video that said Starlink was down globally. And I was like, oh God, I'm glad she sent me that, because I was like driving myself crazy. I tried to call them even because I was going through their checklist of what to do if your thing goes down. And then it said, you can call this number in America. I tried to call it, and it said that their number was down. So everything was down, but you could send them a message and they'll get back to you or something. And then Amy sent me that video. It was like, oh, thank you. And so and then I saw it was down everywhere. And so I just sat here and looked on TikTok. And then I took a nap. And then I got up. And it took a while for it to come back on. And then it was hours. And I took a nap in there and stuff. So I don't know. It was hours. But then all of a sudden it came back on. So I finished my movie. And then I can't remember. Everything was just weird. And it was so motherfucking hot outside. Oh my God, I could not believe it. If you even went out in the sun, you'd be cooked. And my mom was sitting out there with one of the neighbor people, and I'm like, hell no am I going out there. It's like a fucking oven. So I just stayed in here with the dogs, and it kept the door shut. And so then I had to go down to, I had to walk down the driveway a couple times to go and get the mail because they leave delivery down there and stuff. So anyways, it was just this weird day. And then, so I start getting my stuff, you know, together because I'm gonna go sleep. And then, it was just like, I don't know, another thing and another thing and another thing. And then, and Stella was so fucking whiny. Oh my God. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna go crazy when she starts this shit. And then, so I was, cause like at 6:30, she went in and went in the tent and she's in there snoring. So I'm, you know, okay, well, I'm gonna start getting ready to go to bed because I've been going to bed at 7. And the little dogs were just like on edge, man. And they kept running outside and barking and stuff. And then at one of the points, Stella jumps up and she runs out and starts barking. And barking at my mom. She's out there doing something with delivery. Hold on. So she's out there, and they're out there barking. So Stella got up for that. And they all were out there barking. So then I'm like, come on, come on. So we come in. She finishes her stuff and starts doing the rest of her chores. Because she has a lot of stuff she does at night. And then so I start trying to get them to lay down and go to bed. I had the door open still. And I went in and laid down and still just keeps whining and whining and whining. And I'm just like, I mean, she's got this smelly vagina problem. And I'm trying to do these yeast pills. Like, I don't know. I ordered some more apple cider vinegar and added it to mine to try and strengthen it. It's hard when you're trying to figure stuff out for yourself. But every time I try and think of going to the vet, it's just a fucking nightmare. It's all I can see is a nightmare. And so it's like, it's just not the solution. And so I just got to figure it out. I got to figure it out. And then I just feel like we're so close to this med bed situation. We just got to get a little closer. Come on. It's so frustrating when you can know what's ahead, but it's like all these people who just live in fear and anger are just dragging it's like the collective energy moving, but they are dragging their feet. So it's like, you know, and then, God, my throat again. So then we were, I think, because it started, because I went in and laid down. I don't know if it was like 8 or something like that, maybe. And so I'm already like, dang, man, it's getting late. Especially when you get up at 3. And so I was, like, went in there and I was laying with her and she just kept whining. And so I was like petting her and singing to her and stuff like that. And she was just super uncomfortable. She starts looking at her paws. And I can't even tell you how many times I've gone to the vet over that when she has these inflammation things. And it's always, well, she's got arthritis. She's got severe arthritis and hip dysplasia. She's just got pain. We've got this prescription, this one. And they always want to put on this shit that attacks their liver. And even when I tried her on it, and she started refusing, no matter how. It looks like she could smell the pill. She knew it was making her sicker. And so I took her off all that. And then I started on turkey tail and all this natural stuff, which she has gotten so much better. I just feel like that stuff, she would be so sick or she wouldn't even be here anymore if I would have kept her on that. And just like the thing with me, because I was talking to my mom, because she's always talking about, like, because now I have another aunt who's got the dementia. So I've got 2. And somebody else commented to me yesterday about both their parents is having it. and they're totally like resistant to natural. My aunts, they are open to it, but they keep forgetting. So, and the biggest thing is you gotta detox. It's like shit is fucking, it's either eating their brain or it's clouding it. It's got to detox and do cleanses and stuff. And there will be improvement. And I'm not just making it up. I've even seen a doctor talking about it. And in the, patches can also help clear that stuff out because it binds to the things that are causing the problem. So, anyways, so this just kept going and going and going. And I gave her medicine, which I gave her more than normal, and it wasn't getting her to relax. I gave Max, every time she gets, he's like over there, give me a little bit of that. And Archie always is like, hell no. And he's like her about how she was about her meds. He's like that about the CBD stuff. And so, but they still kept being intense, and I had the door open because it was getting, it's so fucking cooking hot. It's like a goddamn sauna. And so I had the door open, and the little dogs kept running outside, and then they kept staying outside. And Stella kept whining, and every time she would stop for a second, I would go doze off. I woke up, I swear to God, like 10 times in like 15 minutes. And it was like, oh my God, I'm feeling so foggy. I'm feeling so out of it. And then, so then it was getting dark. Because I could see, like, it's getting dark now. And the dogs kept running out. Well, then, so I got him in, and they're laying there. And then Archie all of a sudden jumps up, runs out, and starts barking hysterically. The other ones, Stella jumped up. Oh, yeah, because I also gave her 10 milligrams of melatonin. So this is all like around 8 or 8:30 or something like that. Between 8:30 and 9, I think, is when I gave her this 10 milligrams of melatonin. Well, there's a reason why I'm saying this. So so they run outside. Now it's dark outside. And I look at my thing and I think it was, I know what, I looked at it at one point, it was 9:45, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm still out. It's 9:45, what? And, but when they ran outside and they were all hysterically barking, I go out there and I'm, come on, you guys, come on, you guys. Then I heard something, and there was something right there in I heard all this, like, walking and sticks breaking. I'm like, what the fuck? Earlier in the morning, there was a deer out there with her little baby. It was so cute. It still had spots. And, yeah, that was nice because I had just seen that one get hit and it just broke my heart. Because I always think about the pain for the mom. Horrible. I mean, it may have been separated by its mom already, but it may have been lost, and that's why it was in the rut. I don't know. It's just, this world is just heartbreaking sometimes. And then, but so the deer and the mom were out there as early in the morning. Well, it was it was like, I don't know, 9 in the morning, 8:30, or it could have been 8. And then, so then it was like, I got the flashlight and I was trying to see. I thought, well, maybe it's a deer. And it was just walking around. In the morning, when the dogs came out and started barking, I was out there talking to her. I was feeding the birds. And then I saw her over there with her baby watching me. And so I started talking to her. I'm like, oh, you got a baby. Oh, I'm so cute. And the dogs come rushing out there. I remember talking to anything. And they come rushing out there and start barking hysterically. And so she just took off real quick. She was like, hell no. And she took her baby and left. And so the fan is blowing the fucking my hair across my face. And then, so she was gone. And so I figured, well, I threw out a carrot, so I figured, she'll come back in the morning and eat. So I don't know if she came back in the night to eat with her baby, but it sounded so fucking creepy. And I got the flashlight and I was trying to see, but it was just like, it was weird. It was like a light, but you couldn't see. And so I'm just like, come on, you guys, come on, you guys. Because also it's like, fuck, what if it's something else? Like, I don't know. It's so creepy, and it was sounding so big and heavy. It wasn't like a squirrel or something. It was breaking sticks. And it was really, you could hear this crack, crack, crack. And I'm like, fuck, come on, you guys, come on. So I shut the door. I was like, fuck that. I was leaving the door shut all night. And so then I think I saw it was 9:45, and I'm like, come on, you guys, it's time to go to bed. And so I laid down, and she'd had the melatonin. It took for a long time for her to go to sleep. And she's tossing and turning and stuff. Finally, she goes to sleep, and she's snoring. So I'm like, okay, now I can relax and go to sleep. Nope, nope, not at all. Everything in my body. And then I was like, no wonder, like, she's so uncomfortable and stuff like that. It's like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I can still feel it all through my body. And it's like, I don't know. It is like, I've never experienced anything like it. It is like my body is electrically charged or something. And I could not get comfortable. I'm like tossing and turning. It's like this electric current, and it's like this vibration going through my body. And I'm like, oh my God. And so it just kept going and going and going. I'm like, fuck. So it was just like, I felt like I was awake, but I think I was going into some dreams, but it was like, still feeling awake. So then it was just going and going, and I'm like talking to myself all night, and I'm feeling it. I'm talking about my body to myself. I'm going in these weird dream things. And so it was this totally weird, intense night. And then all of a sudden, Stella starts crying again. No, she didn't start crying at first. No, she starts rolling around like on, how they roll on their back and stuff like that. And so I was like, oh shit, it's already morning, fuck. And I'm always like, okay, well, you can take a nap, you'll be fine. And so I get up and go and look at my thing, 2:36. I'm like, oh, son of a fucking bitch, man. So yeah, that melatonin lasted like from 10 milligrams, 10 o'clock at night until 2:30 in the morning. It's like, oh my God. I was hoping for, I don't know, especially when I'm going to bed that late. I was hoping like maybe get up at 4 or something. I was like, oh my God. And so I've been up, I do the whole meal. It's the weirdest thing how my dogs eat. And then, to me, it's the middle of the night. To them, it's morning. But then they go and take another nap, and then they'll get up and they'll want to eat again. And their whole day revolves around go to sleep, get up and eat. Especially for her. Sometimes they don't want to eat every time she wants to eat. She wants to eat non-fucking-stop. It's the weirdest thing, and it's been going, like, I've been talking about this for, like, at this point, it's months. It's the weirdest thing. She used to not be like that so much. And so, and of course I start worrying about whatever's going on in her body. And I don't know what the hell is causing this stinky vagina problem. And when I look it up, it's like, well, it could be pruritus or something with their hysterectomy. She didn't have a hysterectomy though. She had a tubal. That's what they did. Because when I had Lucy, the dog I had before her, and I took her in to get neutered or whatever it's called, spayed, and she died. And it was very traumatic. It was so horrible. She died in my arm. It was horrible. And it was during my dark night. It put me into a whole nother level of pain. And then, so I went to the doctor. I was like, give me some, doctor. And so I was on antidepressants and stuff. Because my whole life was falling apart. Like I said, I was super suicidal at the time. And so I went on there, and then nothing was helping. I was just so down in everything in my life. I was so isolated. I was so alone, and it was hard. And so the doctor was the one that was like, why don't you talk to where you got the dog and see if you can get one of the siblings, and maybe there's another litter coming. And so I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So I messaged them, and she had one of the other dogs was pregnant. And so it would have been not one of Lucy's siblings, because it wasn't the same parents. It was one of the parents and a different one. I think it was the same dad, but a different mom or something. And so I was like, okay. And she had just gotten pregnant. And so I was like, okay, well, I want one. And so went through, I don't know, I don't know. Maybe she was halfway through the pregnancy. But anyways, it was a little bit of time, and I paid for the dog, and also the place that she had died at, they also gave me money to get another dog. So I put that money and gave it to them, and paid for the dog I was getting. And I was supposed to have first choice on the girls of the litter. And so the litter came, and I picked the one I wanted. And the lady was so irresponsible, and she was letting all these people just come into her house with their dogs to come see these puppies when they were less than a week old. And they got kettle cough or something. They got some kind of sickness. So she had to take them all to the vet, and it was all this money. And I'm so lucky I got my money back, because it was super, I mean, as things went on and the drama went on, because it went for a while, I started seeing that these people are so shady. And so, but I did give, because mine died, and there was 2 other girls, but she was already giving those to somebody else. I was just like, because they're these the shady breeders, it's like they're gonna give this dog to this person, because then they're gonna make money off their puppies. And so it's just this web of shadiness with some of these people. And so she said that she knew another lady who was in Montana, and they had a litter that was about to go. So she gave me her information after mine died. And so I messaged her, and then she said I could have first pick of the girls. And so then the puppies got born, and I picked which one. And so then I had to wait until they got old enough. I had to go through this huge thing to get my money back from this other lady. And I got my money back. I paid for mine, and then went and picked her up on Christmas 2015. And then but then there was more shady shit that went down, because this lady who I got it from, she was a breeder of Mastiffs, but she was changing to French Bulldogs, and because she was making so much money off of them. And I mean, some of those ones, they'll charge people to like $25,000 or something if you get a certain color and stuff. It's insane. It is such a breeding, like I hear crisis and hysteria, but it's like it's bad. This breeding bullshit. And I didn't know at the time how corrupt it was, but I was getting a taste of it. And so she had taken all of both the parents and the rest of the puppies, and gave them to this other lady, the one who let the puppies die. And she was supposed to give her money or something. There was something that was supposed to go on, but then she ran off. And so this lady started messaging me like I knew her, like I was friends with her or something, and started asking me if I knew where she was. And she told me about what was going on. And she was making police charges because of the amount of money that was involved. And so it was a whole big thing. And the one lady, she had gone into hiding. She had moved out of her place. Like, it was a whole weirdest fucking thing. I was like, man, I had no idea. So, anyways, I don't remember why I was talking about all that shit. But still, then, they lie about this stuff. I don't know what they do because Stella has hip dysplasia and stuff and severe arthritis. And she got diagnosed when she was tiny, but Lucy had died. Oh, yeah, it was something about, oh, yeah, because then after Lucy had died, then the vet who had done the surgery, she felt horrible. And my mom did the cat clinic. And so she would go up and they would, is a lot of feral cats get brought in. So they do tons and tons of surgeries all day long for free. And I think it's like twice a month or something. And so she started, the vet who had done Lucy's surgery was one of the vets who was there for the cat clinic. So she started talking to her all the time. And her name was Hunter. And Hunter felt really horrible about what had happened to Lucy. She couldn't understand what had happened. But then in the time when I was talking to the one breeder about the new puppy I was going to get, not the one where I did get Stella, the one who the little puppies died, when in the conversations of talking to her, all of a sudden the truth came out about Lucy's litter. Because when I went and got Lucy, she told me, oh yeah, it was just a really small litter. There was only 3 puppies. Well, when I was trying to get this other puppy, she slipped and told me, no, there was 9 puppies and 6 of them were dead. And they didn't know how long they had been in there dead. And so I told my mom, and she told Hunter, the vet, and she said that's what was wrong with Lucy. That's why she died when she had surgery, because she had, when they're in there with all those dead puppies, it does something to their immune system or something. So if I would have known, you know, everything is always this, if you would have known shit, it's always looking back, but everything happens for a reason. And Lucy did teach me a lot through losing her. But anyways, so the same vet ended up doing Stella, and I went down to her. I drove a long ways to go to her clinic in like Colville or something, and I went and spent the night. I got a hotel room and stayed there. It was, oh my God, it was so intense of a day. I was so like post-traumatic stress. And then but so she didn't do a hysterectomy. She only did a tubal. So it would be less invasive or whatever. And so I'm pretty sure on Lucy it was a hysterectomy or something. I don't know. Maybe they always do a tubal. I don't know. But she made a specific thing about it. So I bet every single thing that the medical for the pet says, like, well, if you don't get them fixed, then they definitely are going to get this cancer. If you do, then you can get this. And so there's always something. Always. No matter if you do or you don't, there's always some problem if they're going to have a problem. So it says when I look up about the smelly vagina thing, it says it could be a medical emergency if they've got this pruritus or something like that. And but hers has gone on for a long time. And then it says also it can be this bacterial vaginosis, which lots and lots of girls get that all the time, which it just is, it's what I was told is, for one thing, you get boric acid and you get little capsules and you put boric acid in the capsules and then you insert it vaginally, like a suppository in your vagina, and it fixes the pH. So it's about pH, which maybe I should get that and try it. I don't know. Like, I don't even know how. I don't think I wouldn't even know how to find her. Like, because I don't even know. Like, I just keep using the apple cider vinegar. Like, do some magic. And man, this fan is driving me crazy. And then, but it's just a thing off with your pH. So, it's smelly, it's fishy smelly, but it is just the pH is off inside your body, and that can happen, you know, from semen and stuff, because that's a different pH. So you can, you know, and it can be your spouse, and you go and, you know, just regular living, and then you have the vaginosis. And so a lot of women think like, oh, and you can't, like, you can try yeast infection, all that, you can't get rid of it. You have to get the pH back in alignment. And so, but as soon as you do that boric acid thing, it's cleared. It's the craziest thing. So anyways, if you've got any problems with that, and you've got a smelly problem downstairs, then just consider it's probably something with the pH. Especially now, because they're doing all this stuff to put our bodies off. And even I saw a thing yesterday on the hair thing about losing your hair, and it was going through all these things. If you got confirmation, if you got this, then which can be brittle nails, your hair shedding whenever you get in the shower. I can't remember all of the things, but it keeps, I've gotten a few of these videos where it says it's low iron. And I'm like, well, damn, man. I like cook in cast iron all the time, and I've got an iron fish in my teapot. I drink so much fucking iron water. It's like, how could I be low in iron? And then I got a video yesterday that came across, and it said, if you are low in, I think it's leucine, Lucine, then you won't absorb the iron. So if you're low in this other thing, you won't absorb the iron. I'm like, are you motherfucking kidding me? See, the whole problem is, like, you can take these different things like magnesium, copper, all these things, but if you are deficient in another thing, then you won't absorb this thing. So that's why I'm saying all the time, you gotta like pay attention, and you gotta figure out like, well, I need this, well, I need this. So now I'm like, okay, well, I gotta look into this leucine thing. And then I looked it up in Amazon, and it hadn't shown me anything yet. But on the video that I was seeing on TikTok, it was, of course, to sell something. All these people, they get all this stuff, and everybody fucking selling something on TikTok. It's so annoying. And but right now my feed is full of spiritual stuff. It is the craziest thing. I have never had so many spiritual videos, and some of them, you know, they know what they're talking about. Some are, you know, a little out there, but the leucine thing, this guy was saying it's in this collagen peptide stuff, and he's showing the ingredients. It has leucine in there. So I don't know. I'm gonna look into, you know, what is this leucine, and see, like, am I deficient in that, and I'm not absorbing all the fucking iron? So I don't know. It's just a challenge, and maybe you know, maybe my hair is getting a lot better with the B12. Like, I don't know. You know, it's just like a practicing. You're practicing on yourself instead of letting the doctors practice on you. You got to figure it out. But it's natural stuff. But there is some you can take too much. I guess I've heard selenium, zinc, that you don't take too much. So I don't know. You got to figure your own, what you need out for yourself, because the doctors, they're whack jobs, man. And it's coming more and more to the surface, more and more outrageous things happening in the hospitals and stuff. It is so crazy, the stuff going on. Like, fuck, man. But anyways, let's see. So the leucine, the hair, I think I was done talking about that. But anyways, but you do need, like, if you don't have this mineral and you need this to absorb this, then you won't absorb this, even if you're taking it. If this is deficient, and that's what they do, is they put everything out of out of whack in our bodies, and then that, like I said, you know, they attack our gut, because that's where you absorb your nutrition. And it's easy to get out of balance because it has bad bacteria and good bacteria. Like the food that goes in you that starts rotting, that would be the bad bacteria. But the good bacteria that's inside of you should go in and eat it up. But see, there's no good bacteria. And then, so you just have food rotting inside of you. And that's why, you know, you get bloating and gas and all that stuff, because the bad bacteria is overrun in your body and there's nothing killing it, because they do stuff to kill good bacteria. And so that's all you got to do what you can to build it up. But you know, it's not that easy. Like everybody's kind of in the same situation. And you know, I drink kombucha all the time, but it's like, fuck, man. I have no idea at this point that there's all these different things, you know, that you can take for your gut health, probiotics and stuff like that. But, you know, I mean, is it really building up the good bacteria? I don't know. You know, or just, and what is always so weird is like, because that is on this physical 3-dimensional level, which that's not even real. But it is like, we're still in the paradigm or something of it being real, so it's still real for us or something. So I don't know, it's so weird, this whole thing. Like, who knew, you know, this all was gonna go down when we were little kids? Like, it's like weird as fuck. You know, this awakening, this seeing the truth, this whole evolution. Like, I don't know. I think that some of us knew, like, we were here for something big, but we just didn't know what it was. And then as it started playing out, then it's like, man, this is fucking weird. And last night, like, how weird it was feeling with the planet energy and stuff. I was like, oh my God, I just don't even know. Like, I kept on thinking, I know that it is affecting some people because, you know, the dogs were acting so crazy. But also, my mom was having a big problem. And she's just like, oh my God, I'm just so dizzy. But that's what it would feel like too when I was laying down, like you're dizzy and stuff. Like, it's so weird. And so she was saying she is dizzy and stuff. So I think a lot of people are being affected by the energy, but they don't know what's going on. They think, like, is something wrong with me? Am I sick? I don't know that it's only high vibration people are affected. I think, you know, maybe it's depends on how you associate the energy and what's affecting you. And it could be that they just think that they don't feel good or something. But anyways, I haven't talked to every single person in the world, so I don't know if there's some people's like, what are you talking about? I don't feel anything. I feel great. It's like, well, it's crazy. So, anyways, yeah, I got to see if I finished saying whatever I was going to say about that. The energy, okay, well, anyways, I think I did, I don't know. But there's this other video. So I've been seeing tons and tons of videos. And one of them, this is something that I think people really need to understand. Because you have these people out here saying this stuff. And it can be true on one level. Oh yeah, because I was talking about the 3D. Okay. Yeah, so it can be true on one level. But it is also, to get to that level, you have to, there's more to it. And so when you hear these people, you know, these spiritual people say, oh, well, this guy, I get asked all the time, how do I raise my vibration? How do I raise my vibration? And so then he goes through, okay, so I don't even remember all the things. It was like, eating, and he's giving specific, you know, scientific facts over, you know, eating right. Well, that's gonna help your whatever by 40% or whatever. So, he had like eating right, eating high vibration foods. I think was sleeping one of them. Walk in nature, meditate. The only thing that was about healing it all was forgiveness. So just forgive people, because if you hold on to that, it's going to lower your vibration. And so, but everything was kind of like, well, that's the stuff you do as you heal. You start, you know, eating better, you start sleeping better, you start taking better care of yourself. But you have to give yourself value in order to start doing that. And so they're giving you the things to do after you heal and saying, do these. Well, there's something you got to do to get to there. And that's the way I see it. And I think I'm right, because there's so many people who go through that stuff and they're like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? You know, I'm going and touching a tree. I'm going and grounding. I'm going and walking in the park. I'm sitting by water. I'm meditating. I'm forgiving people and stuff. But they're like, you know, why is it still I have this low vibration? Or why do I still feel whatever? It is because there's more to it. Like, all those things are great as you evolve. You know, you want to spend time, you know, meditating. You want to spend, you know, put effort into taking care of yourself. But you have to get to the point of giving yourself value to get there. And how do you give yourself value? You got to heal things. You got to, you know, forgive yourself. It's not just forgiving others that have done you wrong. That's the whole thing. In forgiveness of yourself and forgiveness of others, there's more to it than just like, yeah, forgive people. Just forgive them. No, you're going to be triggered. There's triggers that come, and they're set in place. People will come into your orbit to trigger you so that you are pushed into letting go of certain things. So you have to that's the thing is I see all these people that just skip over this. Well, you don't need to heal. You're perfect the way you are. Yeah, but you got to realize that. You have to realize your own divinity. And most people don't, they're nowhere near that. And so, yeah, those can be all good things, but they can be a good place to focus, but they're not going to just raise your vibration. It's not just like, yeah, just go out but once you have started raising your vibration through forgiving yourself and you know, being true to yourself and setting good boundaries is a big part, and living your truth and being authentic. And how many spiritual people, like I shared the video on a question yesterday, or well, it was this morning, but it was on yesterday's video. I shared the one of the one girl who, you know, said Big Papa, God, she's got a personal relationship with him, and he's telling her this and that, and, you know, Big Papa, that video. So, you have these people who, I don't know, you know, it was just because they claim to be spiritual doesn't mean that they, you know, it's not like they've been living it for a long time. They just all of a sudden, it's so ego driven at this point. This spiritual awakening still is very ego driven. And so it's I don't know, it's kind of kooky. But anyways, but you got to get to this point of living authentically, being real with yourself, being comfortable with yourself, not always thinking like, what is everybody else going to think of me? What are they going to think? What are they going to think? You got to let go of that stuff and, you know, worry about what you think of you and live, you know, like with morals and integrity. And if you can't do that, then you got things to heal there. And so you have a plethora of things to work on. I mean, life is what it's all about. And it's like this living experience and purging the experience over and over and over and over. And so you have the parts of yourself that do need some tender loving care, and to bypass that and think like, well, all I got to do is go and meditate and sit by a tree and go listen to some water run and eat the right foods, which that's variable too. You got to listen to your body. There is no like one thing, oh, that's the right foods. But, you know, I can tell you some of the wrong foods. This meat situation, it's shady shit. So, and there's so much of this devouring. Oh, God, yeah, Angelina and Selma are coming into my mind. And so apparently, well, there was somebody else doing a video of like, they couldn't believe the comments either. Just like, man, you go read the comments on there and people are awake to what the fuck's going on. But there's been a whole bunch of videos of people who were in the town, because it's a little tiny town, and all these people were saying, hide your kids, hide your kids. Like they knew, here comes the witches. They're going to steal your kids because they're trying to get young again. And people were saying in the comments and stuff, okay, let's see in a couple of weeks if they haven't dropped 20 years off of how they're looking. And so, but people are on to them, and people are seeing that what's going on. And so more and more people are waking up, and more I got way more on my For You page of spiritual stuff and people talking. But like I said, there's also these like drops in the bucket. So yeah, do this list and you'll raise your vibration. But you got to get to a point of that. You can't, it's like you're bypassing this to get to that. It's like the quick, easy version. Oh, well, if I just do this and I'll raise my vibration. No, you got to purge a lot of pain and suffering out of you. You got to face the dark side of yourself. Melatonin's kicking in now. So anyways, it's, there's more to it. So, and that just seems to be something that I always hear in bypass. But you have a big part of you is, this learning to love yourself. And in that, you find forgiveness. In that, you find standing in your truth. In that, you find having to be comfortable giving boundaries, knowing yourself, knowing when you're giving too much and why you're giving too much, and being able to pull back and take care of yourself. So there's a lot to it. In that is where you will raise your vibration. It's like a journey. It's not just a quick, well, you want to raise your vibration, just go eat a peach and go sit by a river and you raise your vibration. Yeah, well, that's temporary. That's not, it'll make you feel good, but that's not gonna, it's gonna go away. And you got to, raise yourself. You elevate yourself so that you can raise it. So those things have more impact when you do them. Oh yeah, that was another thing I want to say. So then this morning when we got up, so we got up like 2:46, and I start getting their food, getting my tea, and getting their food. And then, so they're sitting in here, and all of a sudden Archie does the same thing. He jumps up and runs out the thing and starts barking. So there goes the other ones. It's fucking the middle of the fucking night for most people. Go over to the thing. I'm like, guys, get in here. Be quiet. Get in here. Shut up. And then I hear it again. It's right there. It's like, fuck, what is Bigfoot out here and has been sitting here all night? Like, and now they're out there and, or is it, like, seriously, is this deer been out there? So he was eating last night. Now he's been out there eating all night and he's still out there walking around. It was so fucking creepy. I got them in and then I shut the garage door again. And it's like, I don't know what the fuck is out there walking around, but it's creepy as fuck. And is that sometimes, where I hear these noises and stuff, I don't fucking know. It's so creepy because, I believe in the supernatural. I know the supernatural is real. And I know that other beings and stuff can be around, and, shapeshifters and werewolves and all sorts of shit. And the dogs are so like, and they're just sitting in here. Both times they were just sitting in here. And then Archie, he's got good hearing, man, because he heard the little snap, crackle, pop or something. They're all out there and they're all facing right to the same place, barking and barking and barking, looking at me. And I'm like, go be quiet. And they're like, oh, look. And then I hear the snapping of the branches. And I'm like, oh, fuck no. What the fuck is coming? And so I'm like, get in here, get in here. And so anyways, that was creepy as fuck last night. So I shut the garage door again this morning. It was shut last night. I'm not opening it until it's light out. And yeah, I wonder why it's not getting light yet. Because when did I start this? It was almost 48 minutes. Like, it should be getting light. But I have to keep it closed mostly in the day too, because it's so fucking hot. It's the only way to get it even cool in here. But I'm not opening that fucking door again until until the skylights come on. It's creepy as shit. So, anyways, but I wanted to add that in because that was really creepy. It was the same fucking sounds of this crack, like something's walking. It's like, is it coming towards us? Is it going away? Because it sure the fuck sounds like it's coming towards us. And it's like, fuck no. The big fucking creature comes down and puts his bale hand down, grabs you. It's like, oh hell no. Grabs you and it's like it's a dinosaur. I don't know. Because I do think that they have gotten these DNAs and have tried to bring all these things. I think that they probably have brought some of this stuff back. And just like on Jurassic Park, they probably have an island where they keep them all. And so just like they have these islands that are stuck in the 50s or stuck in the 70s or something. This world is so fucking weird. Confirmation. And but so this is kind of I don't know, it kind of bothered me, I guess. So this was a video of the time travelers. So we have all these time travelers, and yeah, what was that one? Oh yeah, this girl, she is somebody who I've seen a lot, but she is, I guess, on the flat earth like algorithm. So she just talks to people about flat earth all the time. And then there's another one, these people, it's called witch talk or something. So witch TikTok. So there's these ones that consider themselves witches, and they have their own little algorithm too, where they'll talk to each other, and it's like a little close-knit group of people, which one of them was just murdered by her husband, and that caused a rift. Like everybody was traumatized, and she was killed by her husband in front of her kid. Her kid's still alive, but, and I guess she was trying to save the kid or something too. You know, she wanted to make sure, I don't remember the whole story. Her little girl's like 10 years old, and he witnessed this whole fucking thing. And I think he did the girl in, I can't remember her name, it was like Ashley or something. And then, and I guess she did tarot and stuff, but she was in witch talk, like all those girls that all talk to each other over, I don't know, witchcraft or spellbind. I'm not sure because I'm not on that algorithm. But so there's a whole thing going in theirs. Well, on this girl, there's a whole thing going on the flat earth global one too. And so she said, like, this is getting insane. Like, what is wrong with you people? Like, not everybody's an agent. So they're all in there accusing one another of being agents. Like, they've all reached a point of paranoia in the flat earth world. So I don't even know what's going on in that algorithm. And in the spiritual one, like my algorithm has changed a bit because now I'm getting people who are talking more over, you know, the truth, the things that I talk about. And also the ChatGPT boy. That's the one thing when these people, and because they rely on the ChatGPT to tell them the secrets of the world, but it trips me out is how many of the things that they say are the things I say. It's like, wow, that is so trippy. And so there's a lot of the stuff where I'm like, you know, ChatGPT seems to be on point a lot more than some of these spiritual people. So I don't know, it's kind of trippy though. But anyways, I've got a whole bunch, which I saw one girl saying, oh my gosh, the amount of spiritual videos in my algorithm all of a sudden that has gone on. She said that that is a sign of a big awakening is coming, because that's what happened the last time. I had all these spiritual videos come and there was this big flood of awakening. And so I don't know if it's like a soft wave of information that comes in, because I think that a lot of us are out here talking, but we're censored. And so then all of a sudden a wave comes in and a bunch of people wake up and then the wave goes out. And so I don't know. I know that my shit is fucking constantly being blocked. Even yesterday when I said, you know, when I went on there, it was like 44 views, 4 likes, 4 comments, so it was 44. And then the next one was 44 views. I was like, God, that's so weird. 44, 44, 44. And then there was 417. I was like, that's so trippy. And because I'm always watching the numbers speak to you. And so but later when I went on, I don't know, hours later, all of a sudden I lost views. See, I'm telling you, like how do you lose views? It's either viewed or it's not viewed. So when it's going up, how are they going down? They are doing it. They manipulate my fucking account. So annoying. I cannot wait till the censorship thing goes down, which Donald has got so many lawsuits going. I guess he just won another one yesterday, and he just won $36 billion or 36 million or billion. I don't know. It was a whole shit ton of money off of who was it? Another person talking shit on him. I can't remember. It was a corporation. So I don't know, CNN. No, I don't think it was CNN. I don't remember who it was, but they just so he's getting all this money from all that stuff. So I know that this stuff is going to start going out, like the censorship, but it's kind of like, you know, he's a catalyst to keep showing and showing and showing things, but then you have all these people who just hate him, and they don't even know, you know, why. And yesterday my daughter was sending me videos off of Instagram of, you know, what the ICE is doing. They're just snapping people right out of their cars while they're taking their kids to daycare and stuff. And you have these people constantly saying this stuff, which when I listened to the video for a minute and I'm like, this guy sounds Middle Eastern to me. He doesn't sound Mexican, but it's like, whatever. I think that there's a lot of bullshit in this whole thing. I don't believe it all, which is so weird because when I start talking about stuff, that's what I got back from them all the time. Oh, why would you believe some person that you just see on the internet? Well, haven't the tables turned now? It's like, what? So anyways, but I don't think she's trying to be mean. I think she's really trying to enlighten me. Like, I really don't know what's going on. It's like, well, I think it's a little different than what you are attached into, what you're believing. And I sent a couple videos back. One was somebody who was obviously had been a blue person, but information had come across her stuff, because a lot of people are into Save the Kids, you know. And then so she was talking about all of the stuff that went down under Joe and all these kids that had gone missing, and there was a hotline, and there was one girl who kept calling and calling, trying to get help, and she wasn't getting any or whatever. And then there's something, I can share the video if somebody wants to see it, but something about that, something that happened and how they dropped the ball, failed, you know, and how it's a big show. But now Donald has actually come in and saved 36,000 kids or something. And because they don't want to see that stuff. They don't want to know that stuff. And but that's the truth. And I sent her also another one talking to the chat GPT, because I was like, okay, well, they won't listen to, maybe they'll listen to me, but maybe they'll listen to this. And it was saying how you're being tricked and all that stuff. And so anyways, you know, everybody wake up on their own terms, on their own time, when they're supposed to, because it's gonna, how it's supposed to affect them. So anyways, you can't wake people up. But yeah, a lot of them are, you know, as they're starting to listen, they're just listening to wrong information. But you know, that's a part of their awakening. And so what was I gonna say? So seems like I was saying something, but I'm gonna switch this other thing. So hopefully I finished saying what I was saying about that. But anyways, so this other thing that was kind of bothering me, and so the time traveler thing. So you can get on the algorithm of the time travelers, and I think there's several people who claim to be time travelers, and telling us this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. So this guy, he claims to be a time traveler, and he had what are those things called? Lie detector test done on him to prove that he is really a time traveler and he's really telling the truth. And so there was some of the stuff he said, which I think is true, but some of the stuff I was like, well, that's not, I mean, if we're splitting into a bunch of different realities, that's not the one I'm going to. And I'll tell you why. The things. Okay, so one of the things he said was, motherfuck, man. One of the things he said was that LA is going to be gone. And he said the whole bunch of big cities are going to be gone, which, you know, I know that part's true. And he said a whole bunch of big cities are going to be gone because the water's going to raise, And he said, like, LA will be gone. But he said, but LA will be rebuilt somewhere else. So they're just going to rebuild LA. He said the world becomes overpopulated, and like, we still all stay in these big cities, which I don't believe that. I mean, that could be a reality that's going to happen, but that's not the one I'm going to. The one I see, people are going to become more independent. People are going to become not just crowded in, because if you're all crowded into these cities, these high rises and stuff, then where's the food coming from? You're still dependent on somebody to feed you. So, and then the overpopulation thing. Well, how are we overpopulated when there's so much land? All we have to do is take care of ourselves. Like, all we gotta do is spread out. So how is overpopulation a thing? So I was like, I don't know about that. And I mean, I bet I can't discount it, that that's not a reality that's going to occur, that there will be, and maybe this is where the things split, and that is the where the other people go in their reality, that they continue in this world of, I don't know, because he says this is on Earth. And so he said that so the water's gonna rise, but they're just gonna make a new LA. They're just gonna take the whole thing and just move it over here, and everybody's gonna still live there and be in overpopulation. So, but I know the water's gonna rise. I know the map's gonna change and stuff. So I do believe that part. Then and he didn't give a time frame on that. He just said, yeah, the water rises, a bunch of cities are gone. He said, for instance, LA will be gone, but they're going to build a new one. It's like, okay, well, that's weird. And there was another thing he said, like, they said, well, what is, like, some about, like, how do people dress, or something, like, about how we dress or something. And he said, well, everything's black and white. Everybody just wears black and white. I was like, well, that's not the world I see, Ed. I see this total creative side of people coming out. Like you would be, I think there'd be a lot more. I think there's going to be a lot of people who, like seamstresses and stuff. Like I've already said, people are going to not go to, this high fat, the fashion of, whatever it's called, the fast fashion or whatever, where they use slaves to make the clothes, that is not going to be anymore. So it's going to be like, you would go to a person, just like it used to be. You went to a person and they measured you, you picked like a design, or you brought in your own or whatever, and they measured you, and then they make the clothes that fit you. So, and it will cost more, but you have clothes that are made for you. And that's where, to me, there's going to be a lot more creativity, a lot more of a, it's not going to be so generic, where you can go to a thing and be wearing the same dress as somebody. It's going to be a lot more designed for you. So to me, it's like, just in the future, I was just black and white. I was like, he even said that there's a thing about his avatars and AI and stuff. He said AI becomes the ruler of the world. And then there's like 10 people who run the AI computers, but they just keep them running or something. But the AI is what decides all the rules of the world. And we become one world, which I do believe that. And he said, well, we become one world. And he said this happens in 2030, which I do believe that is where we are going, into this one world. He said, but we divide into 7 nations or something, or seven, like units or something. I can't remember. I don't think he said nations, but it was something, territories or something. So there becomes 7, which I would think would be the 7 land masses or something. So it'd be like, Eastern European or whatever, but we're all going to be under the same, umbrella. It's not going to be where we're divided into, like, because now we're divided into continents and nations and cities and states, and it's all to keep control over us. And so it's not, we're going to be leaving that. So we're going to become one world, but then it's going to be, but we're going to be like territories or something. So, But I think that seems like, okay, well, that seems accurate, but we're not going to go under flags and be in separation. And you got these rules over here and these rules over there. It's going to be one world. It's going to be dominated by peace. And the peace comes from within us. And it's like you have a higher moral standard. So you understand what you put out comes back to you. So it's like people no longer do things that are evil towards each other. But it's this whole learning thing. It's this gradual thing that's happening. And so, and he said that happens by 2030. The weird thing, though, he said, is so it's like 2040 is when we all have the same money. Well, then what in the hell? So we got 15 years of this rainbow currency and BRICS. Like, it takes that long? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. By the time that we are one world, we would be under one currency. So that to me was like, okay, that doesn't make sense. Because we already have it in action. We already have it in play. It's already in movement. So this, with the BRICS and the one world currency through the rainbow currency and the quantum system is already in action. So I can't imagine that was going to take 15 years to get our shit together, to be using it. Like, what? But we're going to be one nation, but we're not going to all be on the same currencies. So that right there was like, that's a little wacky. So that was another thing where I was like, I don't know about that. I definitely don't think we're all going to just be wearing black and white and be living in big cities. It sounds like fucking what is that show? Is it called 1948 or whatever? That book. There was like, oh, this is what's happening. It's like, it's too like, and the computers are running the world. It's like, and so he said this other thing about, so we all get our own AI thing. So everybody has their own AI thing, and everybody has another avatar, which sounds like the movie with Bruce Willis, where he's like sick, but he uses an avatar to go in the world, but also it's a different world that the avatar goes in. And so it goes out and it represents him. So he said basically, like, we all have an avatar, and we are an avatar. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? We are an avatar. So, but we have an avatar, and then we use it to go out in the world, and then it can get hurt, but it can't hurt you. And then it can go out and you use it like you're the puppet master of this avatar that is the expression of you. I don't even know. That was another thing where I was like, I think that we are coming into a place of understanding ourselves and disconnecting from the avatar that we are, to realize that we are not this avatar. We are what is the power, the battery inside is what we are. Is our conscious being is the battery of the avatar. The avatar is not you. And so we already are an avatar. So we're going to take another step towards it. We're going to be a battery that has an avatar that has an avatar. It's like, I don't know about this reality. I sent it to Amy. I said, I'm not going to this reality. I don't know what this one is, but I'm not going there. And so in 2040, the one world, the money. Okay, so there was a lot of stuff that he talked about, like the AI and the avatars and stuff like that. And so the only things that he really said was about those things. But everything's like way ahead, which I don't understand how it could be that far ahead when we're already in the process of it. So I don't know, but I do think the water is going to rise. I mean, I know the water's going to rise. I don't think that's a big stretch. I think the water is rising. Yesterday, just out of the blue, I guess New Mexico had another flood, and somebody was showing the clouds. It was a rainstorm or something, and it was like the waterfall. It was just, you talking about torrential downpour. It was just, water was just pouring out of the sky, and they had another big flood. And so we're going to keep having these things, and there's energies to certain areas. And so there's things playing out that are like above our pay grade. They're, you have to understand the ancestry, the what's gone on in certain lands at certain times, and there's still things playing out. Everything is going full circle. So you, as your soul, is going full circle. That's why your awareness of your past lives and your past experiences and the people that trigger you, why they're there, and what the triggers are really about. And so that is the leveling up into your deeper understanding of your soul's journey. And your soul is wrapping stuff up. It's going full circle. So it's wrapping things up so that it can leave this age and move into this new age, which you still have all these group of people too. Oh, we've entered the age of Aquarius now. We're in it. Oh, okay. I don't know how you think this is the age of Aquarius. This is the age of peace and love. This is the time. I mean, we haven't even gotten to where all the people are awake yet. What are you talking about? We're in the age of Aquarius. We're still on the transition into it. Like, things have to be purged. Things have to be, we have to leave this old existence and move into a new one. And you have a lot of you, and your storyline is in back behind you, and you have to release it. And forgiveness is a big part. You have to forgive people, and you have to move forward. But you have to forgive yourself is a big one. So yeah, I don't. To me, when I hear these spiritual people, oh, we've entered this, we've jumped timelines. We're now in the age of Aquarius. It's like, well, I don't know what your life is, but in my world, there's still people asleep. They're still arguing and fighting and stuff, and that's not part of the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is literally peace on earth. It is, people living their truth, being, living a more pure life, living a life that's more about you. And you have to let go of all the things and seeing all the things that hold on to you. And why do you hold on to these? Why do you feel like you'll be a good person if you do this? If you got to do that, you got all the things that you believe that aren't true. Because this isn't, none of it's real. But everybody lives their world like it is real. And it's just not. I mean, you got to let go of all these things that hold you back from being your authentic self, so that you can move into that. The age of Aquarius is full of authentic people, not this fake ass world. We're still in the fake ass world. So, which I just saw. So there was one of these girls that does all these videos showing, the creepy side of whatever the hell's going on with these actresses that are, suddenly their whole face changes, their whole face structure, which I swear to God, this whole thing with this Ozzy and Youngblood and Sharon and stuff, and Kelly Osbourne now, how weird she looks. I don't know if they're just going into these semi-synthetics, what the hell's going on, but something, because it's not just clones. These are not just clones. They don't look like themselves. They look like some kind of a generic misfit. They look all weird, and they do lose the life in their eyes. So I don't know. I say they're getting their consciousness put in some kind of a synthetic, kind of organic synthetic being or something. I'm not sure. But they also get these weird ass long fucking hands, and then there's more weird things with them. But anyways, so there's one of those girls that talks about that. She did one on Pamela Anderson, she said, and so all these people freaked out. How dare you? She's so wonderful. So this girl was giving more on her, which there was a lot of stuff on Bentley, and she is, I think, trying to redeem herself or something. I don't know. You don't know what the darkness is inside of people, and so, in what they're hiding from and stuff, because this stuff that this girl was going through was like, oh my God, I didn't even know some of this shit. Like, this guy, I don't even know his name. She goes, well, I'm not going to say his name. You can say it in the comments, but I'm not saying it. I've had other videos talking about him. I'm not saying his name. I think he's I don't know. I know there's something, what he did was something with stem cells and something to anti-age himself by using his baby cell. I fucking don't know. Like, it is weird shit. But she's very involved with him. Like, while she was on Baywatch, he paid her $35,000 a month to be his girlfriend or something. So it was before Tommy, I guess. I don't fucking know, man. But he's way involved with all these people. I mean, when she was giving the web of, you know, who's involved with who, it was like, oh my God, it's so creepy. These people, you know, some, whatever they do, he looked like a monster. He looked like creepy. So, look, I don't know. I mean, he has less wrinkles, but he looks creepy as fuck. And so I don't know. But she does have a very weird look now. And I just thought, well, maybe she just really going to go way, way, way away from the sex symbol look, because she carried that for so long. Like, she set a beauty standard of for a long while. And so now she's wanting to completely cut ties from that and just go kind of like, I don't know, this alien kind of girl look. Which, if you haven't seen Lisa Rinna, like, what in the wackadoo shit is going on with her? Like, fuck, talk about alien chick. Like, what are you, just trying to turn yourself into an alien? Like, what the hell is going on? And like, she's trying to, like, she's, oh man, you guys see the video of her walking and hiding behind this jacket thing, and her creepy eye. Oh, she's a nightmare. But so Pamela has been involved with some real shady shit. I thought maybe because she was involved with Assange, she was, you know, maybe she had an awakening that moved her in a new direction, because she was very into the, you know, Sean's parties, and she was very into Harvey. She was very into, she even said that the girls who were making charges on him, well, you know, it takes two to tango kind of situation. You know, they brought it on themselves. What? Sean's parties, they're the greatest. She's got a thing for baby oil too. I was like, what? Then what was the other one? The other perv that has gotten in trouble, and she was like, I guess she was a frequenter to the island. I don't know. She was way involved in all this stuff, and even to the point, you know, she's getting payoffs every month, $35,000 a month, and so. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, everybody has an opportunity to redeem themselves, and you're going to have to face all your own darkness. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, she did come out with a new look that's, you know, and she wanted to go, you know, stop wearing so much makeup, which, you know, we don't need makeup to hide behind. We just need to, you know, appreciate our own faces and love ourselves. It's a big part of the whole healing process, and not using the makeup to hide behind, not using all this artificial stuff to hide behind because you don't feel good about yourself in some way. And yeah, you can use makeup to enhance yourself, you know, you can, but there's people who are out there changing their whole entire faces using it. And I mean, just seeing her, of what she used to look like and what she looks like now, I mean, she was one of those people who did use the makeup to change her whole entire face. Oh yeah, because she also was people on Hefner's, the charges that were on him. She also blamed the women on that too. Oh no, Hefner's a good guy. He wouldn't do anything wrong. Well, he's a motherfucking, you know, underground ways to get around. all underneath his place, leading to other places. I think it even leads to, I think you can go from underneath his place and get to the Getty, which is, there's a whole bunch of shitty, crappy things about what goes on under there. Like, the whole underground world of creepiness is, like, there's all sorts of shit. What was another one? Oh yeah, there's so many busts going on. The people with there was another senator or something now who's, some fucking grown-ass man sending naked pictures of himself to a 12-year-old. Like, these fucking people, like, what? In the place in Alabama, we got to make sure people know about that, where they had a whole place where they were keeping kids tied up, and then you can buy your way in to come in and, pick one, do what you want. And 4 men got busted on that, and there's not talking about it on, I think there was 9 kids or something down there, and in the news is just forgetting to talk about that. All of this creep ass stuff that they just forget to talk about because they're not there to tell us the truth. They're not there to give us the real news. They're there to give us a story so that we don't pay attention to what's really going on in the world. And there was another girl who she was 17 months. She was a 17-month-old little cutie pie, and she sold her. She was, she used her to make money, and there's 7 different men apparently, because then it was found 7 different men's DNA. But they did so much. So she just like, oh yeah, you can have my daughter for this much money, and bring her back, whatever, when you're done. And so it was so much horrible stuff happened to the little girl. She was in the hospital, and they found all this DNA and stuff. So the mom is now arrested, and the little girl died. She didn't make it, and just fucking hell. There's so many of these stories that just keep going and going and going. And there keeps being big busts, though, where big rings are being taken down, and the people going down, and these people being revealed, these people, the rulers who are making the rules, and they're a bunch of weirdo pervs that are trying to get involved with a little kid. Like, what in this sicko fucking world? Like, fuck. But see, that's the kind of stuff that's not going to be in the age of Aquarius. These people are like, oh yeah, we've entered the age of Aquarius. Like, what in the wackadoo world are you talking about? We're still in the, getting rid of the people who keep us in the dark. These people are coming to the surface so that they can be purged out of our existence, so that we can start having heaven on earth. So we haven't entered it. It's like, it's still ahead. We're still on the journey to get there. And we've got all this resistance, like I said. We got all the people who are asleep who are dragging their feet. But the universe is going to, make certain things happen that, it's going to knock them down so they can't drag their feet anymore. And it's going to be, a lot of big change that's going to go. I still see it as the awakening thing continuing to happen. Some event, something's going to happen that is going to suddenly wake people up, where they're going to all of a sudden see what they didn't see. And that's going to be when people start their healing. And that's why we have so many people who've been in preparation for the healing modalities and stuff, because there's going to be such a huge necessity for healing on the planet. And so we're going to go into this period of healing, and it seems that the rift and it seems like, things are going to be changing. The money, there's going to be a lot of stuff changing, which there's more and more evidence that the housing market is crashing. I guess they just tried to jack something up. It's all going to crash. And so but that's going to lead us into the reevaluation, where we can start, buying a house for $6,000 again. So this nonsense where you spend $600,000, get you trapped in this fucking debt and stuff. And so is trapped in the enslavement. And, because we don't have to live that way, but they just keep making it worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until it's going to collapse. And so it's going to collapse. And so we have that. But it seems to me that so many people, as they awaken, that they go towards their own divinity, which sets the other people off who are waiting on Jesus. And so that becomes the next divide. And that one is the serious one. That's the one of the two opposing energies at their core. And so it's take a knee for your salvation, or believe in yourself and give yourself salvation. And so it's the control and this belief system that is all built on this hierarchy, comfortable with being judgmental. They know what's value. It's like a whole thing. And so that clash is still to come. And I think that's what sets it off, though, is this other part of the awakening when people start, plugging into themselves. But that the other people are so resistant to plugging into themselves because they have a God to answer to. And so that conflict is still ahead. And but apparently there is a lot of people leaving the church at this point, I guess. And it has to do with what's going on in the real and the strip and stuff. So there's a lot of tension, a lot of, but people are going in weird directions, like, because everything is about, the jinn, the side, and, the mass annihilation of people. And then, so it's like, well, I'm all right with that as long as, it's like a whole thing. And so we have a lot of tensions and stuff. But that is people, at least having the moral dilemma, so. But that is a very structured, influential system that is created to really control people's minds. And it's a very old system, and it's very deep. And so that is still, a big thing that's got to play out. And so it seems, that we're going to have as the people awaken and start healing, then it becomes a huge tension because, you don't heal yourself. You got to succumb to, say his name. And so that creates a lot of anger and hostility and stuff. And then, so that still has to play out, which to me, that is that tension on the planet, because it's gone on for eons, over age over age over age, that reset after reset, that there's a lot of energy that is in the earth that is going to be coming, and then our energy, and it just starts this whole thing where it's gonna, I bet you that's when the volcanoes and shit are really gonna start going. The water's really gonna start rising. Things are really gonna start changing once we get to that part where these two tensions come, the control and the freedom. When they start really clashing, that's going to really start a lot of tension on the earth with volcanoes and earthquakes and stuff. And that could be when it's going to be that LA and San Francisco, Seattle, but there can be some of these that are going to be going as a part of the awakening too. So, I don't know. We got to just see. You can just like know things are coming, but you don't know how it all, moment by moment, how it's going to play out. And a lot of people get visions and, precursors, premonitions and stuff. A lot of people can see what's coming, but to know each event and where it's coming, that's not something that we really have access to, because it's not, it's meant to be the other way. It's meant to not see certain things, because you got to get comfortable, have faith, things have to play out, like there's a whole thing. So anyways, that is, we still have that tension to go. And then the land mass is changing, the trauma and things that change people and put us in the direction for, that's when we'll be going into the heaven on earth. And like I said, I think the solar flash is the separation of the two energies, and it's like the birth of something new, because a lot of newness comes from this big bang, this energetic compulsion, this giant, energy that goes. And so that to me is, this energy goes, and that's the creation of the other realities. Because I don't know, this other reality where it's black and white and Avatar world, and AI is running it. That's the thing over where he comes from, supposedly on his lie detector test said. So, but I'm going into a more natural world where, we're more in tune with nature and more accepting of one another, and more about love, and more about the sovereignty and taking care of yourself and stuff. So there's going to be a lot more like smaller farms and stuff. We're not going to be eating corporate food, and there's going to be a lot of changes in food too. So, and maybe in his world, maybe they don't eat food anymore. They didn't ask him that. Who grows the food? What happened to the corporation? And so, but we're in this period of time where we're watching the corporation collapse. And oh man, and there's more stuff with this Rothschild and the war, even the Civil War. And that was, so it was the what went on in Russia when they got rid of the banking, the Rothschild banking system, and they pushed it. And then they came over here to try and be taking us over. And then Russia found out about it, so they sent soldiers over. So there's pictures, and and it had also to do with Lincoln, and that's who he was fighting against, was this system, these people, these the vamps. So there's so much hidden in our history. There's so much lies and hidden, that's what it's always been, fighting against them, and they've been fighting against them, and they tried to come to our rescue, but we got taken over by them. And so, but we are breaking free from them at this point. And so they're collapsing, and I think that a lot of them are already out. So, so anyways, but that expansion, that big bang of energy, that solar flash, that is when, to me, that's when you can be like, oh, and it can be devastating, It can be like, fuck, man, we got through some shit, and now we got to rebuild. But it's going to be, the people who are driven are programmed for it. So it's going to be, and we're going to create a new beautiful world out of the debris that we left behind from the old one. But it's going to be such a relief to be out of that old skin and be moving in a new direction. And so, but it seems like this stuff is way closer to me, especially you have all these people saying the solar flash is coming in 2027. Well, we have a lot that's going to be going on until that, because the solar flash is not going to just come out of the blue. We play a part in it, the energy. It has to do with the energy and the change. So, and then he says in 2028 is when we start interacting with the people we believe as aliens, but he said that he wouldn't say what they were. He said, we believe they're aliens, but they're not from outer space. Well, they're multidimensional, because it's all dimensions and realms, and it all has to do with vibration and how you move through the realms. And like I said, all the vibration and how you move, well, the beings that are more do that, they call them aliens to us. But anyways, that he said in 2028 is when we have first contact or something. So, maybe it is after the solar flash and they come. I don't know, but there's a lot of stuff. Like in 2030, we're going to be one world nation. I still don't get what he's saying. 2040 is when we're going to all be on the same money, because it seems like we're going to be on the same money before we even become one nation. And so, I don't know. I just know we have a lot of stuff coming, and a lot of things are going to be changing, especially if 2027 and 2028 are significant time factors in this realm of this destiny that we're here to play out, this movie, then there's gonna be action packed. There's gonna be action, action, action. There'll be all things playing out. Lots and lots of stuff is gonna keep going and playing out. So it's gonna be tense. It's gonna be a lot of tension. It's gonna be a lot of, emotions and stuff. A lot of purging emotions. A lot of letting go. Even when I see things that are real sad, I have to talk myself into like, okay, just remember, this isn't real. This isn't real. And souls don't die. The deer's dead, and yeah, it's sad, but it's not real. It just comes in and leaves. Well, that's what we all do. We just come in and leave, come in and leave. I just saw this girl doing this video that I thought was really cool, because she said there is nothing that you have that you can hold on to. That food comes out of you, each breath, you can't hold a breath. There's nothing. And she was going through the whole list. It was really cool how she did it. And so it's all to learn to enjoy the moments you have, enjoy your time here, enjoy the experience, because that's what it's about. And that's where, when we're here at a very tense time and very extreme experience, like we're in a time of change. We're not in just the playing it through, just the same old thing, even though it can seem like it's like, same old thing, day after day after day. But it really is a big time of change. It's like, I don't know how long it takes a snake to shed its skin, but it's like, it's a process. We're going through this process of shedding the old way and moving into a completely new existence. So, but anyways, I just say we got a lot that's going to be going on over the next couple of years, and things are going to it will ebb and flow, it will up and down. It will come in strong and recede, come in strong and recede. So it will be moments of horrible tension, and then it will go back for a minute, and then we'll come in, and it's going to come in harder and stronger every time. It's going to keep coming harder and stronger, because in our energy, more and more of us wake up, and more of us put our emotions in this creation of this tension and this desire of change. So it's the wave of change, and it's going to come in stronger and harder, stronger and harder, stronger and harder. And so that's why you got to learn how to just ride the wave. You can't, and the more you resist it, the more it's going to hurt. So, and it's intense. Like, I can't even believe, like, on some of the things, like, how do you sleep? How do you just relax? Like, it's so intense. The energy is intense. And the sun, if that is whatever's going on about that, and the way it's just heating and heating, because I know that there's a fake one. I know there's a fucking world. I know there's fucking Truman Show shit. But it is, it is still the, whatever is going on up there is like cranked up. But there's a whole thing in our, what is that, like the Hopi prophecy or something, some old prophecy about how the sun was going to get more and more white. Okay, more and more white, and this goes on all day long. More and more white, and brighter and hotter, and then there's going to be the blackout sun. And there's something else about this blackout. Maybe that's what is supposedly today. Something's going to black. I don't know. There's always a date. There's always something going on, and it's going to keep going. So it's not going to be like, oh, we'll get to that date and everything's going to be fixed. No. We have a lot of stuff to go, and it's going to keep going in this way that feels like it's dragging at times. But we're all headed, everybody's headed to something different. So, even if you think like, well, lives are horrible, and these people who are going to continue going through and to learn more, but the soul isn't that. The soul still has a home to go to. It still can go back to self. So this is all, everything is an illusion in the lower vibration. It's all an illusion. And then in the higher vibration, I think that you realize you're an illusion, like that you are just an energy, and you are creating your own experience. So anyways, see, this is what I'm talking about, this panting, which I don't know if I think some of it is probably the aching and the intensity of what's going on. But like I don't think that it's like a serious illness, but then I also know she's getting up there in her years, but also I know that we got these med beds that are coming in close. It's like, that's another thing, that's going to, like, there's gonna be good things that are happening, just to be able to get food that's not poison. That's gonna be a good thing, and they're working on that right now. So there's good things happening, and there's a whole lot of change. Everything is changing, but this is gonna keep going. And so, anyway, but just be careful who you, like, just because somebody says something, you don't have to buy into the whole thing. You don't have to believe the whole thing. And when things aren't working for you, it's because you probably only have part of the story. Just don't, be careful who you listen to, because they can sell you on something. Maybe it works great for them, but it may not work great for you. So you have to just do more. And to me, it's not like so much you have to research, because the information just comes to me. It's like you put the question out to your higher self, your guides or whatever, and it just comes into you. It just comes to you. So, don't get all caught up and you have to force things or something. Just, spend some time in meditation. Ask the universe, what's up? What do I need to do? How do I do that? What do I need? But it doesn't always just come. Like, I've been trying to figure out some of this stuff for a long time, and then I get little bits of this, little bits of that, and there's like more, it's like a bigger story where you start realizing like how insignificant it is, the minerals, and why they are taking them from us and stuff. So, anyways, there's a lot to go. There's still a lot going on, and all that. So, anyways, let's look at this real quick. And that, like, there's still a lot to go. I just want this fucking money thing to collapse. I want this money thing to shift. I want to be able to go out and find a place to live. I want to get into these med beds. I want to get my dogs into these med beds. And I want to go and start living in my own peace. Like, the more we can go but maybe that is why, that some of us, we are still stuck in the thing, is because they need that energy, they need that light to stay, to keep pulling the other ones. Because if we all just went out and lived our own lives of peace out in the desert somewhere, then that would leave the collective kind of just still in the battle. Like, the ripple is the awakening and the healing and stuff. So I guess maybe that's why, there's still this point of like, but there will be the part of where it's like, because there's going to be a lot of these healers and stuff. They're going to be working at these healing centers, I believe. And so there's going to be big changes. It's not, I don't know. There's going to be big changes. And, maybe you'll live out in some beautiful place, but you go to the places to help the people who are still healing or something, but you still get to live in a place where you have your own peace. So I don't know, but that's what I want. I just want to live peacefully and live and experience what I want to experience and do the things I want to do and get out of this slave labor weird world that is so full of artificial toxicity and this nonsense. So, anyways, I guess I better just go tend to my little lady over here. And so, just remember, like, on all of the things, the main focus should be you. You are the one who is elevating. You are the one who needs to focus on you. And the whole thing comes from learning how to love yourself. That's the biggest thing. Learning how to love yourself is not that easy. It's a project. It's a process. So learn how to love yourself, learn how to love everybody else, and learn how to have the day you want to have, because it's totally up to you. So anyways, we'll see what this day brings, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.